Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going deep into excerpts from Suzanne Evans' book, The Way You Do Anything is the Way You Do Everything. You've shared some notes and highlights, and it seems like you're ready to unlock some serious personal and professional growth.
Exactly. We'll uncover the core principles, the surprising anecdotes, and what makes this concept so powerful for transforming your life and business.
I'm already hooked.
Yeah.
Okay, so the book kicks off with a pretty dramatic story about Suzanne's mom having a stroke.
Yeah, and then it flashes back to her childhood. It was quite a roller coaster, apparently.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
What's fascinating is how she connects these seemingly disparate events.
Hey,
She uses them to illustrate the idea that the way we approach challenges, even early in life, shapes our overall approach to everything.
you're right. It's like that vivid memory of her first ballet recital. Chaos everywhere. Kids crying, parents panicking, and little Suzanne determined to shine despite it all. She even mentions those ill-fitting shoes and a classmate having a meltdown right on stage.
That's the point. Even at 4 years old, amidst the chaos, her commitment to being extraordinary was evident. It makes you think, are you bringing that same unwavering commitment to your work? Are you pushing through the metaphorical ill-fitting shoes and on-stage meltdowns?
That's such a good question.
Yeah.
I know I've definitely let those little things get to me sometimes.
Right.
It does make you wonder if we lose a bit of that fearless spirit as we get older.
Right. We start doubting ourselves, worrying about what others think. Suzanne is reminding us to reconnect with that innate drive, that determination to shine no matter what.
It's like she's giving us permission to embrace that inner 4-year-old ballerina who's ready to take on the world. And speaking of bold statements, there's that sign Suzanne kept on her desk. There are no Cinderella stories. Kind of a wake-up call, isn't it?
It is. It challenges that fairy tale notion of effortless success. This isn't about waiting for a fairy godmother. It's about taking ownership.
Mm.
You know, that myth can actually hold you back, making you think that success should just magically appear. And then you end up feeling discouraged when you have to put in the real work.
So it's about recognizing that we build our own success brick by brick, right?
Exactly. It's about understanding that success is earned, not bestowed. It requires dedication, resilience, and a willingness to hustle. It's about showing up every day and doing the work, even when it's tough.
And this is where she brings in those incredible examples of Jiro Ono, the world-renowned sushi chef, and Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimming champion.
Both dedicated their lives to mastering their craft. Jiro talks about the importance of immersion, falling in love with the process, and Phelps meticulously visualized his races almost like practicing in his sleep. Think about your own work. What's one area where you could really deepen your focus and commitment to achieve that level of mastery?
That's a great point. It's easy to get distracted or spread ourselves too thin, but these examples really highlight the power of focus and dedication.
And it's not just about talent or passion. It's about that unwavering commitment, that willingness to go all in. Like Suzanne's story about her dog, Lucky Boy, and that tracking competition.
Oh yes, she had to trust her dog's instincts, even when her logical mind was screaming at her to go the other way.
Exactly. And she won. Sometimes we need to silence that inner critic and trust our gut, even when it feels counterintuitive.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, are we trusting our own instincts in business? Are we willing to take those leaps of faith, even when logic is telling us to play it safe?
That's the question, isn't it? Are we letting fear hold us back, or are we embracing that same level of trust and commitment that Suzanne showed with Lucky Boy?
It's about taking that leap and believing in ourselves, even when things get tough.
Exactly. Sometimes practicality needs to take a backseat to faith. It reminds me of the story Suzanne tells about meeting a potential partner at a conference. She bought a ticket with her last bit of credit just to have a chance to talk to this person.
Talk about bold.
No.
No waiting for the perfect opportunity, she created it.
She seized it. And sometimes that's what it takes. You can't always wait for the stars to align. Sometimes you have to make your own luck.
This actually ties into the advice Valerie Jarrett gave to Wellesley graduates.
Yeah.
You can have it all, maybe just not all at the same time. Finding that balance is key, right?
Absolutely. It's about being strategic prioritizing and understanding that everything has its season.
And speaking of things we need to prioritize, let's talk about money. I love how Suzanne debunks the idea that it's the root of all evil.
Yeah, it's not about worshiping money, but respecting it. It's a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. The key is to develop a healthy relationship with it.
She argues that a lack of money can actually create more problems than it solves, leading to stress and even compromising our values. I know I've felt that pressure before.
It's a common struggle. Think about it. Have you ever made a business decision that you later regretted because you felt financially squeezed?
Oh, yeah.
It's about recognizing the power money has, not just in our businesses, but in our emotional well-being.
That's a powerful insight. So how do we cultivate a healthier relationship with money?
Suzanne emphasizes treating money with respect, honoring our commitments, and paying ourselves first. She doubled her income in 1 year by investing in herself and her business.
That's incredible. But what does investing in yourself really look like? Is it coaching, building a team, attending workshops?
It can be all of those things. It's about identifying the areas where you need support and then being willing to put resources behind them. But it's not just about spending money. It's also about honoring commitments, paying yourself first, and creating a sustainable financial system for your business.
It sounds like it's about shifting our mindset as much as it is about taking practical steps.
Exactly. It's about viewing money as a resource that can help us achieve our goals, not something to be feared or avoided. And a big part of that is being willing to face our financial fears and limiting beliefs head on.
Which leads perfectly into that powerful statement from Suzanne, your truth will set you free. Can you tell us more about that?
It's about acknowledging our struggles, our vulnerabilities, and using them to connect with our audience. People resonate with authenticity. Sharing our stories builds trust and establishes us as experts who truly understand the challenges our clients face.
It's like those stories she shares about her father learning to use an iPhone at 72 and her nanny embracing technology in her 80s.
Those stories demonstrate that it's never too late to learn and grow, and that embracing vulnerability can be incredibly powerful. Both her father and nanny, despite their age, were willing to step outside their comfort zones and embrace new challenges. What's fascinating is that even in her personal life, Suzanne embodies this commitment to teaching, to sharing knowledge, and empowering others.
I love that. It's about fostering a mindset of continuous learning and growth no matter where we are in life.
Exactly. And remember, the way you approach one area of life often spills over into others. So that willingness to learn and grow in your personal life can translate into a more adaptable and resilient approach to your business. That makes so much sense. It's all connected. So if embracing our truth is the key to unlocking greater freedom and connection, what happens when we start suppressing our truth, pushing down those difficult emotions, or shying away from challenges?
Well, that's where we can get trapped in what Suzanne calls the cycle of quitting.
Oh, I've definitely been there. That feeling of wanting to give up when things get tough. So what are the warning signs and how do we break free?
Welcome back to our deep dive into Suzanne Evans's. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. In part one, we explored the power of commitment, immersion, and embracing our truth.
We talked about pushing through challenges, trusting our instincts, and even that tough love reminder that there are no Cinderella stories.
Right. Success is built, not bestowed. It's about showing up and doing the work day after day.
And speaking of work, we were just starting to delve into Suzanne's views on money when we left off. She really challenges that whole money is the root of all evil idea.
She does. She believes it's the lack of money that often leads to more problems, creating stress, resentment, and even forcing us to compromise our values. That definitely resonates with me. I've felt that pressure before, like having to make a decision in my business that I wouldn't have made if I felt more financially secure.
It's human nature. But Suzanne encourages us to shift our perspective, to view money not as something evil or shameful, but as a tool that can help us achieve our goals and create a life we love.
So instead of fearing money, we need to understand it, respect it, and learn how to use it wisely.
Exactly. It's about creating a healthier relationship with money, both practically and emotionally.
You mentioned that she doubled her income in a year by investing in herself and her business. That's inspiring, but I think a lot of people, myself included, struggle with knowing where to start. What does investing in yourself actually look like?
That's a great question. It's different for everyone, but it's about identifying the areas where you need support and being willing to put resources behind them. It could be coaching, building a team, attending workshops, or investing in software that streamlines your operations. It's about recognizing that sometimes you need to spend money to make money.
It's like that saying, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Sometimes you have to crack open that wallet to get things cooking.
Exactly. And remember, investing in yourself isn't just about financial resources. It's also about investing in your knowledge, skills, and well-being. It's about carving out time for learning personal growth and activities that energize you.
So the holistic approach to investing, not just focusing on the bottom line.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that you are your most valuable asset and treating yourself accordingly.
This makes me think about those times when I've held back from investing, whether it's in a program, a piece of equipment, or even taking a much-needed vacation. It often comes down to fear, doesn't it? Fear of wasting money, fear of failure, fear of the unknown.
Fear is a powerful force, but Suzanne encourages us to move through those fears and make decisions from a place of empowerment, not scarcity.
So how do we do that? How do we silence those inner voices of doubt and make bold investment decisions that align with our goals?
It starts with awareness. Recognize those fear-based thoughts and challenge them. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And what's the best that could happen? Often the potential rewards far outweigh the risks.
That's a great point. It's about shifting our perspective from what if I fail to what if I succeed.
Exactly. And remember, Suzanne herself admits to having overspent on her business at times, but she saw those investments as stepping stones to achieving her bigger vision.
It's about trusting your gut, even when it goes against conventional wisdom.
Absolutely. It's about having a plan and being strategic, but also being willing to take calculated risks. Sometimes the most unconventional paths lead to the greatest rewards.
This reminds me of the chapter where Suzanne talks about being both practical and impractical. Seems a bit contradictory, doesn't it?
It does, but it's about finding that sweet spot between logic and intuition. Sometimes we need to follow the rules, be diligent with our budgets, and make data-driven decisions. And sometimes we need to throw caution to the wind, follow our gut, and embrace those crazy out-of-the-box ideas.
So how do we know when to play it safe and when to take a leap of faith? It's like we need a roadmap for navigating those gray areas.
It's not always easy, but Suzanne encourages us to tune into our intuition, to listen to that inner voice that guides us towards our highest potential. She also talks about the importance of playing in business, of not taking things too seriously. It's about experimenting, being willing to try new things, and even fail forward.
That's such a powerful concept, failing forward. It's about viewing setbacks not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones to growth.
Exactly. It's about embracing the learning process even when it gets messy.
I love that. It's like giving ourselves permission to be human, to make mistakes, and to learn from those experiences.
Precisely. And remember, even the most successful entrepreneurs have faced their fair share of setbacks along the way. What separates them from those who give up is their resilience, their willingness to keep going, and their ability to extract valuable lessons from every experience.
Speaking of learning from others, Suzanne also has some interesting views on competition, doesn't she?
She does. She doesn't see it in the traditional sense. Instead of focusing on beating the competition, she focuses on running her own race, pursuing her own unique vision, and creating something truly valuable for her audience.
That's such a refreshing perspective.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in comparing ourselves to others, especially in the online world where everyone seems to be highlighting their wins and downplaying their struggles.
It can be a real trap.
Yeah.
But Suzanne encourages us to shift our focus inward, to define our own measures of success, and to celebrate our own unique journey.
It's about recognizing that we're all on different paths, and that comparison is truly the thief of joy.
You got it. It's about focusing on your own lane, honing your craft, and delivering value to the world.
It's like that quote, comparison is the death of joy. Instead of trying to keep up with the Joneses, we need to focus on building our own empires brick by brick. But it's not just about ignoring the competition completely, is it? We still need to be aware of what's happening in our industry.
Of course. It's about finding that balance between healthy awareness and obsessive comparison. Suzanne advocates for understanding your market, knowing your ideal client, and positioning yourself strategically, but without getting sucked into the vortex of comparisonitis.
So it's like having a healthy curiosity about what others are doing, but not letting it derail our own focus or diminish our own accomplishment.
Exactly. And remember, true success comes from collaboration, not cutthroat competition. Suzanne emphasizes the importance of having values, manners, and heart in business. These qualities build trust, foster genuine connections, and create lasting relationships.
It's about remembering that business is ultimately about people, not just profits.
You got it. It's about building a community, supporting others, and creating a positive impact in the world.
That leads us perfectly into the next section of the book where Suzanne talks about mastery. She breaks it down into 3 areas: craft management and customer service.
She believes that mastery is an ongoing journey, not a destination, and that continuous learning and improvement are essential in all 3 areas.
Okay, so let's dive into each of these areas. What does it mean to master your craft?
For Suzanne, it's about honing your skills, staying ahead of the curve, and constantly seeking ways to refine your expertise. She suggests drawing on past successes, repeating what's worked, and even embracing those intuitive nudges that guide you towards your purpose.
It's about trusting that inner voice, that gut feeling that tells you what's right for you and your business.
Exactly. And it's about staying curious, being a lifelong learner, and always being open to new ideas and perspectives. She even quotes Malcolm Gladwell's research, which suggests that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to achieve world-class expertise.
Wow, 10,000 hours. That's a serious commitment.
It is, but it highlights the fact that mastery doesn't happen overnight. It requires dedication, discipline, and a willingness to push yourself beyond your comfort zone.
So it's not about perfection, but about progress,
All right,
right?
absolutely. It's about embracing the journey, celebrating small wins, and consistently striving to do your best work.
And it's about sharing your knowledge with others, great teaching, mentoring, and creating a legacy that extends beyond yourself.
You got it. It's about recognizing that true mastery involves not just acquiring knowledge, but also sharing it with the world.
Okay, so we've talked about mastering our craft. Let's move on to management mastery. What are Suzanne's key insights in this area?
Suzanne acknowledges that managing people is one of the most challenging yet rewarding aspects of running a business. She stresses the importance of understanding different perspectives, adapting your leadership style to meet the needs of your team, and creating a work environment that fosters collaboration, respect, and growth.
That's so important, especially in today's multi-generational workforce where people have different expectations, work styles, and communication preferences.
Exactly. Suzanne even shares some personal stories about how she learned to manage millennials, recognizing that they have different needs and motivations than previous generations.
It's about being adaptable, open-minded, and willing to learn from those you lead.
And it's about empowering your team, delegating effectively, and creating systems that streamline your operations and allow you to focus on your zone of genius.
Delegation can be so tough, though. I know I struggle with letting go of control sometimes.
It's a common challenge, but Suzanne reminds us that we can't do it all ourselves. Building a successful business requires leveraging the talents and expertise of others.
So it's about trusting our team, providing clear expectations, and letting go of the need to micromanage every detail.
Exactly. It's about creating a culture of trust and empowerment where everyone feels valued and supported.
Okay, so we've covered craft mastery and management mastery.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about customer service mastery.
Ah, yes. This is where Suzanne really shines. She emphasizes the importance of creating a customer-centric business one, where every interaction is an opportunity to build trust, loyalty, and raving fans.
It's about going above and beyond, exceeding expectations, and making your clients feel like they're the most important people in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Suzanne talks about the power of under-promising and over-delivering, paying attention to the details, and creating a seamless and enjoyable experience for everyone who interacts with your brand.
She even tells that heartwarming story about her mom's experience in the hospital and how a simple act of kindness from a nurse made all the difference in her comfort and recovery.
Right. The story about the warm blanket. It's a powerful reminder that even the smallest gestures can have a profound impact on our client's experience.
It's about being present, empathetic, and genuinely caring about the people we serve.
And it's about creating systems and processes that ensure consistency, efficiency, and exceptional service delivery.
So as we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive, I'm curious, what's one area where you could step up your customer service game?
What's one small change you could make that would have a big impact on your client's experience? Keep that question in mind as we head into part 3, where we'll explore the final chapters of the book and uncover even more strategies for implementing Suzanne Evans's powerful principles in your own life.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Suzanne Evans's The Way You Do Anything is the Way You Do Everything. We've covered a lot of ground, from mastering your craft and customer service to embracing your truth and managing your money. We even talked about those ill-fitting ballet shoes and that powerful reminder that there are no Cinderella stories.
It's been quite a journey. We've explored the importance of commitment, immersion, and building a solid foundation for success. But now it's time to bring it all together and really focus on how to implement these principles in a practical way.
I'm ready to get tactical, so where does Suzanne take us in these last few chapters?
She really emphasizes the importance of planning, reminding us that hope is not a business plan.
Ouch, that's another tough love moment. But I get it. We can dream all day long, but without a plan, those dreams will never become a reality.
Exactly. We need a roadmap to guide us, a framework for turning those aspirations into concrete actions. Suzanne provides a 5-step plan for creating consistent income and achieving sustainable success.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's break down those 5 steps.
The first step is asking where. It's about defining your financial and positioning goals for each project. Where do you want to be in 6 months? A year? 5 years? What are your revenue targets? What kind of impact do you want to make?
So it's about getting crystal clear on the destination before we even start the journey.
Exactly. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Once you've defined your where, it's time to ask when.
Ah, yes, deadlines. Those are crucial for me. I know I can easily get sidetracked or let projects drag on indefinitely if I don't have those clear timeframes in place.
Deadlines are essential for accountability and creating a sense of urgency. Suzanne is a big believer in setting firm deadlines and sticking to them no matter what.
But what about those unexpected challenges that inevitably pop up? Life happens.
Of course, flexibility is important, but it's also crucial to have that overarching timeline in place to keep you moving forward.
Okay, so we've got the where and the when. What's next?
The third step is asking who. As Laurel Langmeyer famously said, "Who can I get to do this for me?" It's about recognizing that you don't have to do everything yourself. In fact, you shouldn't.
Delegation. It's so important, yet so challenging for many entrepreneurs, myself included.
It is. But as your business grows, you need to learn to leverage your time and energy effectively. That means building a team, outsourcing tasks, and delegating responsibilities to those who are better suited for certain roles.
That makes sense.
Well,
We can't be experts at everything, and trying to do it all ourselves only leads to burnout and overwhelm.
exactly. It's about recognizing your strengths, identifying your weaknesses, and bringing in the right people to fill those gaps.
So even if we're just starting out and don't have a huge budget, there are still ways to delegate and leverage support, right?
Absolutely. You can hire virtual assistants, work with contractors, or even barter with colleagues. There are creative solutions for every budget.
That's reassuring. Okay, so we've covered the where, the when, and the who. What are the final two steps in Suzanne's plan?
Step 4 is all about analyzing and testing. Every email you send, every call you make, every event you host, it's all data that you can use to improve your results.
This reminds me of the concept of failing forward.
Exactly. It's about viewing setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow. If something isn't working, don't get discouraged. Instead, ask yourself why, analyze the data, and adjust your approach accordingly.
So it's a constant process of refining and improving, always striving to do better.
Exactly. It's about embracing that growth mindset and recognizing that there's always room for improvement.
Okay, so what's the final step? How do we bring it all together?
The final step is to play big and plan small.
I love that. It sounds so paradoxical, but also incredibly empowering.
It is. It's about having a grand vision for the future, but breaking it down into manageable chunks. Suzanne suggests focusing on 60-day plans, which allow for flexibility and achievable results.
So instead of getting overwhelmed by the enormity of our goals, we break them down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Exactly. And by consistently taking action, even small actions, we create momentum that propels us toward our ultimate vision.
That makes so much sense. It's like that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
You got it. And remember, Suzanne reminds us that sometimes the most unconventional path leads to the greatest rewards.
This brings us to one of my favorite chapters in the book, the one about not being practical. It's like she's giving us permission to break the rules and embrace our inner rebels.
She is. Suzanne encourages us to play, to spend, to take the hard way, even when it goes against logic. It's about trusting our intuition, even when it seems a bit crazy, and being willing to experiment, fail forward, and learn from our mistakes.
She even shares a story about reading Suze Orman's book and realizing that if she had followed all the advice, she would have been out of business.
It's a powerful reminder that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to success. We need to find what works for us, even if it means going against the grain.
So it's about finding our own unique path,
Yeah.
even if it looks different from everyone else's.
Exactly. And it's about trusting ourselves even when others doubt us.
Okay, so we're in the final chapter now. What's Suzanne's ultimate message? What does she want us to take away from this whole journey?
She leaves us with this powerful reminder: love your life. It's about prioritizing our own happiness and well-being, making time for the things we love, finding joy in both our personal and professional lives.
It's about living with intention, purpose, not just going through the motions.
Exactly. It's about creating a life that feels aligned, fulfilling, and truly joyful. And she encourages us to write down our to-do before you die list and start taking steps to make those dreams a reality.
It's about recognizing that life is precious, time is fleeting, and we have the power to create a life we love starting today.
This has been such a rich and insightful deep dive. Suzanne Evans' book is packed with wisdom, practical tips, and inspiring stories.
It's a reminder that success isn't about luck or magic. It's about the choices we make, the actions we take, and the way we show up in the world.
And as Suzanne so eloquently puts it, the way you do anything is the way you do everything.
So let's choose to do it with excellence, passion, and a whole lot of heart. Now here's a final thought to ponder as you continue your journey. What's one small step you can take today to love your life a little bit more?
It could be anything from booking that dream vacation to simply taking a few minutes to savor your morning coffee. Remember, the way you do anything is the way you do everything, so choose wisely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another insightful exploration of the ideas that matter most.